Fanboy Modeling School.
Content creators on YouTube, and here's the thing, folks. Even here at Fanboy Modeling School, Roy and I will lead with this. These are our opinions based off of what we've seen, right? But there are people on the YouTube who just want to lead you poor kids astray. Look, I'm looking right in the camera. I'm looking in the camera right now. Audio listeners, you can't see this. We're not here to lead you astray. What you feel about the show are your own fucking feelings, right? But there are people on YouTube that just do things for views.
That it's so funny that you say that. It's so funny that you say that because I have such a bone to pick with some of these effing YouTubers, man. I've got something to I want to flip out right now. Basically, this is a segment where I get to flip out about
Go for it.
So I saw a YouTuber, and what this YouTuber said is she had the theory that the beekeeper is a Spider-Man villain. She thinks he's the Swarm. Why? Because there are bees around him, and the Swarm is a being made up of bees. That's his power.
Right.
And so, however, it is clear, and I'm just going to say it, might be a spoiler or whatever, it is clear that the beekeeper is the Grim Reaper, an actual villain against Scarlet Witch and Wonder Man and Vision in the comics. He's a thorn
or
in
he's
the side
an agent of AIM
villain.
that's crept into the universe.
Yeah, but I believe that he is actually the Grim Reaper.
Okay.
So then a further thing that goes on is somebody was like, well, that same person said, and I believe that this is based off of the comic Standoff. Now, Standoff has it where all the supervillains in it get brainwashed to believe they live in the suburbs and they're just normal people, and they're living in a suburb until they figure out who they are.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
And then they have a standoff in the suburbs with the Avengers, and this person said this because they're like, well, it's two suburbs, right? It makes sense. It was the worst researched theory crafting I have ever seen on a YouTube channel. Now, I let it go. I was like, okay, whatever. Bad theories. Why would a Spider-Man villain be their villain? They have their own villains. You clearly have never read an Avengers comic book.
Right.
But the problem is as I went around to other YouTubers, there's at least 2 other YouTube channels that's had the exact same theories, bad theories that have nothing to do with anything.
Right.
And so I would I want to point this out. There is a graphic novel, a collection of adventures from just called Vision and the Scarlet Witch. It's like 12 of their best stories from the 70s. And it's where they quit the Avengers and move to the suburbs. And a lot of it is in there that we're going to see in this thing is in that comic.
Okay.
It already has a basis, but none of these fools bothered to research it, to read an actual Avengers comic, but instead they were watching each other's work and just plagiarizing false information.
Wait, hold on for a second. Hold on. Are you telling me that there are people on YouTube who have not done any real research and have presented it as fact, shrouded as an opinion, and then other people grabbed onto that without doing research of their own, and then they wrapped it up in their own opinion, but presented it as fact? Is that what you're saying?
Steve, I'm sorry to tell you this, but yes, there are people in the world that do that. This is unfortunately a practice that some people do, and I refuse to believe that. I'm the one to tell you this. I know it's going to shatter your universe, but unfortunately, yeah, apparently that's what's going on. And so another thing that I can't stand is their high-profile ones. And it was like, I'm glad that you get to be a it's true. You were there first. You guys were there a decade ago or more. So you get to do that, or you have corporate backing. In the case, one of them was like
not hating on you,
new, but they're corporate backed.
Yeah, not hating on you. Yeah.
We're not hating on you, but I love that you don't do any research for your job and just people will listen to you. The fact is, those 2 theories will not come to pass. And I'm putting my money down right now. You have the FAT MANTIS guarantee and, well, technically an illegal wager, but I'm betting every one of you listening to me that neither of those theories are right. And any YouTuber who said it to you is
a fool.
Yeah, a fool and a plagiarist.
You know what, man?
You're on notice. And you know what? YouTuber X was one of them.
Here's the thing, man.
I believed in you. I had more respect for you before.
Here's the thing, man. None of us
broke my goddamn hearts. I'm an Avengers fan. Man. Give Hawkeye a cowl. God damn it.
Here's the thing, man. These I want to get back to the detractors of the show, man, and people hating the show just for the sake of hating it. And that's their right? You have the right to build your content around whatever you want to do, man. Your Uncle Curmudgeon would never say that you don't have the right to say whatever you want. But what you don't have the right to is freedom from consequences. And most often, I am your consequence, right?
It is a horrible consequence.
And the thing about it is, man, if you dislike the show, I get that. There's some things to dislike about it. I could see how it could be too drastic of a switch for people who maybe have just been following the MCU and they're like, oh man, this is too much of a departure. I could see how some people can make the argument that like, hey, these are two sideline characters. There wasn't enough time for them in Marvel's in Infinity War Endgame. I would disagree with that, but I could see how you can make that argument. But if your only argument is that it's slow paced, then that's okay. That's for you. I think that what we're getting ready to be led into by Kevin Feige and the whole crew over at Marvel, and let's just stop giving Kevin Feige all the credit. The writers, the actors, what we're about to be led into is going to be bigger than Endgame. I think it's more ambitious than Endgame. Actually, if you think about Endgame and what led to Endgame, that was the safest. Thanos was the safest road for them to take.
It is crazy that you say that. So I have some friends, and my sister who has appeared on the show before, who believe that the endings to the characters, the three characters who left the Avengers, were safe endings.
They were extremely safe.
Were they safe?
No, they were not safe in a negative way, but it was like the most logical conclusion. And when you say three characters, you mean Scarlet Witch. You mean Black Widow, Captain America, and Iron Man, right?
Yes.
All right. Yes, that makes the most sense. Loosely based off of canon from the comic. You still got to get old Steve Rogers, canon, but he becomes young again. Death of Iron Man, canon, but he obviously comes back as a hologram, and then eventually comics, he comes back.
Comes back, and no one dies, right. No one ever dies.
Black Widow has died multiple times by my count. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I'm not just talking about.
I'm sure of it.
I'm not talking about mid-90s Black Widow.
NERD, my friend, NERD. No one ever really dies.
But I think it was safe in the sense that it was like, man, we got to knock this out the park. And we got to follow a formula. And they did, man. They followed it to a T. They got us, we were all bitching, you too, about there not being a real villain in the MCU. And they were like, just wait. They sounded like the QAnon people. Just wait. It's going to happen any day now. Just wait. And then, we got Thanos, right? I think that what we're about to see in one phase, essentially, WandaVision, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, is going to be an ambitious undertaking. I think we're in for one hell of a ride. So here's the thing, right? For all you people that complained about time travel in Endgame, you're really going to hate this, right? Because we're about to explore something that's often explored in Marvel Comics, which is alternate universes.
Alternate dimensions.
Alternate dimensions. And I'm here for all of it, man. Some of my favorite things as a kid were what if comics, right? Just bottom line.
I love What If. I can't wait. What If is one of my most anticipated shows. But anyway.
My coworker Peter thinks it's the cheesiest thing ever. And I said, Peter, shut your filthy whore mouth. What If is life.
Do you have the power to fire him? Fire him. Fire him.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, man.
Stinking animal. What If is... What If... I think people are going to eat their words with What If. Man. Here's the thing, man. It's these young kids don't know how good What If is, the concept of What If.
It's amazing, and
they're gonna love this, man.
It's going to be amazing just seeing where this goes. And even if Wanda isn't the big bad, even if we're all wrong about our theories about the show, how great is it to be wrong? Just think about that for a second, bro. You could have all these theories, and if it's still good, it's still okay. You know how many theories people had about Infinity War and Endgame that all turned out to be wrong? Every last one of them. And they were like, nope, we're taking a simple approach.
Theory crafting is one of my favorite parts about it. And some people are like, I just theory craft all day long about what's going to happen, what's going on. And you're right. Even if I'm wrong, I don't care. It was just fun. The ride is fun. That's what the ride is. That's what they say. Here's what it is. It doesn't matter where the characters end up at the end of the
journey,
day. Mostly. It's the journey, man. And the journey is... I like to think, I'm like, where are they going like this? And sometimes I'm right, and sometimes I'm very wrong. And it's cool. It's cool that I'm very wrong. Yeah. The only theory crafting I don't like are cockamamie ones, like the Beekeeper is the Swarm, or that this story is based off of Standoff. So only a no-talent loser who doesn't read comics would think that.
So here's the thing, man. So we're talking comics here, folks. We're not talking Star Wars. So here's my favorite thing, and I believe it's Mantis is one of his favorite things about comics. Not linear, baby. There's no set path. They've already established they don't have to stick to the canon. So we're not talking about Star Wars where it's like, well, fuck, Grogu's either going to die or they're going to change something, right? He's either going to die or you got two options. Like, you kill him or something else happens. But in comics, man, and movies based on comics, a universe, I got a beef with Kevin Feige, but I'll get to that at the end of this rant.
What?
We have the chance to see something play out. My beef with Kevin Feige is, man, this is not Earth 616. Look, Google it if you don't know what that means. MCU is not Earth 616.
You know what the problem with all these proposers coming in the world? I mean, trust me, I love people. I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper or whatever. But like, for instance, on Twitter the other day, I saw somebody say, well, the real universe is, the MCU is 616. And I was like, well, canonically, it's not. And then the kid attacked me, and he was like, well, Mysterio said. I was like, Mysterio is a con man.
He's a freaking liar.
They don't pay attention and they get confused. 616 is the comic book mainstream reality.
Yes.
MCU has a different designation.
Yes, 100%. And they acknowledge that in the comics. I forget which episode.
But this guy, but I'm saying this guy is what they call a tourist.
Yeah.
He's seen a couple of movies. He doesn't really pay attention, and then he just thinks that because Mysterio said it in a throwaway line that he thinks it's real.
Here's the thing, man. I had warned multiple people about Spider-Man Far From Home. I was like, this is Mysterio we're talking about. If you think any multiverse shenanigans are going on in this movie, you obviously don't know the character of Mysterio.
I could not believe, and then a bunch of YouTubers did this too. When it was coming out, they were like, well, maybe they're like, Kevin Feige seems to be going a different direction with Mysterio. They seem to be making him a hero. And I'm like, it's a con job. Every one of his adventures is a con job. Everything he says is a lie. How do you not see that?
That's because, and here's the crazy thing. Some of these YouTubers have written comic books before, and that doesn't make them any less of a comic book enthusiast. Doesn't make them any less of a comic book historian. It just means that, they're wrong about this thing, but they're really wrong. I think
trust me, a lot of people who have written comics don't know anything about the characters they're writing.
Yeah,
or they're like, I want to look at this character in a different way, and it's just a bad take, and people don't like it.
You know what? Shout out to one of our fans, Young Klima, aka Dr. Respect. He comes through all the time.
Dr. Disrespect, what up?
No, respect. Dr. Disrespect is not one of our fans. I wish he was.
I'm sorry, Dr. Respect. How are you?
He just started. I put him on to House of M, and because he was talking to me about Wandavision, I was like, hey, so it looks like it's loosely based off of this, but it probably isn't. That would be too low hanging fruit. But I was like, hey, go read this, and I was like, just check it out, and he's enjoying it immensely. I think there's going to be a bunch of great stuff, man. I want to talk about comic books later on, but let's finish this up.
We can do that. But basically, here's what I'm saying. You're talking to Fat Mantis. I'm telling you what to get. Go on Amazon. Look for it's just called Vision and the Scarlet Witch, and they have their best of like graphic novel compiled. That is from the 70s. That is mainly like them in the suburbs and the Grim Reaper trying to kill them. Is mainly this story. However, it is also partially House of M, which you can also get on Amazon, and it's also partially based off of the Visions, or should I say Vision? But the graphic novel, the graphic novel you need to read is The Visions, which is about Vision creating a family and living in the suburbs.
Also very eerie. Something very bad happens to a dog in that comic book. If you're not into that type of stuff, don't.
But you notice that I did not cite Standoff because it has nothing to do with this storyline.
Did you like what you heard? Check out the full episode. Just click the link down below. And remember to like, share, and subscribe.